Hello everyone and welcome to Harv's World for my first ever map tour. Just released today is Cybochowo by Zeliak04. And we are going to take an in-depth look at this map, drive around a little bit, see what's going on. Now, the first thing that I noticed, and since I'm standing relatively close to it, I'm going to run right down here. Point this out before we even get started. See if I can not get run over by a truck. Some of you may recognize this. Lipinki. Yes, Zeliak04 also did a map called Lipinki. When I saw this sign, I was curious, so I had to go back and look at that map. This is not the same map. It does look like he has used the same village section, but this map is actually completely different. According to his notes on the map, there are 206 fields, several forests, many purchase areas, 3 new crops, alfalfa, rye, and triticale, or triticale, depending on where you're from and how you choose to pronounce it. We've got 2 new types of animals, goats and ducks, and there is full compatibility with seasons. Now there is one issue with seasons that you should know up front. If you want to play straw harvest on this map, you cannot play that with seasons, so pick one or the other. You can't do both. Next thing I want to look at is our equipment. We're going to tab right over here, and obviously we've got a Fendt 310 Vario just to start out. And this is our initial farm. If we look at our map, it's right over here. Interestingly, we have several farms that we will go around the map and get to. We're kind of spread out all over the place, but all of our equipment is stored right here. Now let's go ahead and look at our garage and see what we've got. We've got the Fendt 310. We've got the Stara ST Max 105. We start with the small Bison Super Z056, a small grain trailer, header, plow, cultivator, planter or seeder. We've got the small Novacat 301 mower. We've got the Stroutman loading wagon, weight, and many buildings. And we start with a cow pasture, a pig enclosure, goat husbandry, sheep pasture, horse paddock, duck husbandry, chicken co-op, 2 interesting grain silos. They each hold 100,000. We've got a small bunker silo. We've got another small bunker silo that's a bit different unless you've played on one of these maps before. Many garages, and again, all of these buildings are spread out all over the map. And let's take a look at that real quick. So if we go into our map, we can see right here, this is where we're starting. And if we look at our lands, we've got fields 11, 52, 53, and 54. Now don't let the map fool you. These are actually pretty good sized fields. We also have a small section down here, and this is all forestry. It's right next to our lumber mill right here. But then if we look around the map, we can see right here, we've got another farmhouse, and we can raise our pigs at that farmhouse. If we look down here, this is where our goats and ducks can be raised. We've got another farmhouse there. Up here in the northeast corner, we've got another house. We've got horses and sheep, and that leads us right back to our main farmhouse near our fields with chickens and cows. So as we start looking around this, we've got several barns, sheds that we can store equipment in. This is one of our fields, and it has lucerne. So this is ready to harvest. We're going to have to bring that in and get started on that new crop right away. This is obviously one of our silos. And if we look, we can see that we already start with some crop in the silos. We have 200,000 liters capacity. across 2 silos. Right here, this is our primary farmhouse, at least where we start out. And you cannot go inside, but there is a sleep trigger here, as you can see. Then coming over here, this is our chicken coop. Right here. Right here is where your animal dealer trigger is. Buy your chickens. Obviously they're going to be in this yard. Feed trough right here. And egg collection would be right here, oddly in front of these rabbits. Next we have got our cow barn. Opens on both ends. Slurry tank right here. Come around to the side, we've got our manure right here. This is going to be our animal dealer trigger here. Buy some cows, and milk right here. And then of course we've got water and feed. Oh, feed would be in the barn, of course. Silly me. Now if we come around here, we've got this barn. Took me forever to figure out what was going on with this barn. I could not find a way to get in, but it is actually over on this side, and there are multiple doors that you can open to get in there. And just inside we have the cultivator and seeder. So that's pretty much the main farm area. Like I said, we've got the 4 fields, 52 here, 53 this way, and it looks like there's corn, but you can see, I mean, on the map these look pretty small, but they're actually pretty decent sized fields. And if you wanted a nice large field, you could just merge all these really easily, take out a couple trees, and you've got a nice big field. Across the map there are obviously 206 fields, and some of them are actually quite large. I would say that this map ranges from small to large fields in general. Look at some of these and take a look at the pricing. Looks like 179 is going to be our largest field. That's 325. That's the most expensive field. But here, 53,000, 21,000, 41,000, 29,000. 31,000. These fields are very reasonably priced. 62 at 100. So you can see my point. And as I said, right down here we have the forestry area. That could be sold for 161,000. If you're not into forestry, just put that in your pocket. Buy something. Buy some other plots of land with it. Buy half a dozen plots of land with that kind of money. So let's go look around a little bit. I'm just going to grab this Fent. Now I have not played on any of the Polish maps before, so I was pleasantly surprised by what I came across as I was driving around here. I think the scenery is exceptionally well done. What I like about it is there are trees, but they're not overly done. You know, there's just enough to give it a real feeling without overdoing it so much that you can't see across the landscape, things like that. And the other thing I like is the attention to detail. You know, every house you drive by, like this one, we've got the clothesline, we've got little trees growing around the fence line. Just little details like that that really kind of bring this map to life a little bit. Look across that, you've got the rolling hills there, the fields all laid out, and those are good sized fields. I mean, looking at the map you wouldn't think they were so large, but when you get out here on them, definitely going to bring in some good money on those fields. Now, the first thing we're going to come to here is the biogas plant. I have not tested this. We do not own it outright. which is a bit of a sticking point with me. You know, if it's a place of business, we shouldn't have to be biogas merchandising executives. All we want to do is sell our crop, right? But you've got your digestate right here. Obviously, you've got the dump and fill point right here. If we take a look, now yeah, the biogas is not on our price list, selling point price list, so we're going to have to purchase that before we can use it. But they do have some really, really nice big bunker silos here. Let's go look around just a little bit more. We'll go check out our other farmyards. Ah! Now, even though these are good-sized fields, large equipment is not going to serve you very well on this map, at least not getting it around. If you keep traffic on, at least. Turn traffic off, you've got a good shot at making your way around a little bit easier, but traffic on, probably not going to be so easy. Now this is something right here that I like. You know, I was saying there's not too many trees that block your view, but coming through here where the trees grow up like this gives it a really nice forested feel, and I like the change, because then you come out of it and there you go again, right there, your fields, you can see everything. It's lovely. Coming up here on the left, we have got one of our grain elevators, and we have a lime point. If we pull in, we'll just take a look inside real quick, and I'll show you something else about this that I like. So right here is your lime station. Come in here and fill up, and then obviously you've got your grain sale points right here. But what I like about this is all of these sale points have their own sound effects. I've done a really nice job of adding sound effects to these, and it brings them to life a little bit more than your average map does. And getting crashed into, and moving on. Yeah, I hear ya. Now right here on the left, this is obviously the store. These are always a little bit tricky to find. In fact, I had to buy a piece of equipment as I was initially checking this map out just to figure out exactly where it is. Right here is where you're going to bring your vehicles for repair, but to get them repaired you'll need to come inside. Right here's your repair trigger, and then right here is your store. We've got a lovely Polish gentleman sitting there just waiting for us to make him a lot of money by buying a $300,000 piece of equipment. And moving along. I should have taken a left back there at Albuquerque, but right here is your fuel point. That's not exactly hard to figure out now, is it? And coming up here on the right, this is our dairy station. I'm not even going to begin to try to pronounce that word, but our sale point is right here. Again, some nice attention to detail. You don't always see milk tankers sitting around, forklift, employee vehicles and such. So again, nice attention to detail on the map. I really like the look of it. I like the feel of it. I've never played with the Polish maps before, so this might actually just end up being my first one. I've kind of got an idea for some more Let's Plays that I'm going to be doing in the future. And hopefully this will benefit those ideas. We'll see what comes. So, on our left here is one of our farm areas. Now, what's interesting about this is if you look at the map, it does not say we own this plot of land. In fact, we can buy it for 72, almost 73,000. However, we can sell the buildings. This is unusual, at least from my perspective, because normally you can't have placeables on a piece of land that you don't own, and if you have placeables on a piece of land, you can't sell it until you've sold off all the placeables. But regardless, we have access to all of these buildings. We have got our, what was that? Our horse paddock and our sheep. So we can raise sheep here, we can raise horses here. And I'm going to double check, where was the animal dealer spot for this? Oh, must be right here. Grab a sheep, move it over, confirm. Yeah, we can buy a sheep, we can raise our sheep right here. So for whatever reason, we can do that on this property without actually owning it. And furthermore, we have a house that's got a sleep trigger. We can sleep at this house. Another interesting thing about the map is, as you might know if you've ever tried to place a second house on a map, it will tell you you can only have one of this type of building on the map. It will not let you place multiples, so obviously Zeliak04 has done a little coding to make that allowable on this map. Now I don't know if you could place another one somewhere, but it certainly does start with multiple sleep triggers spread out across. So here's another one of those places, you know, that's got a really lived-in look to it. We've got the tractor parked in the barn, the car, we've got the laundry hanging out. Just really, really well done attention to detail. And like I said, I've never played the Polish maps before, but everything looks, you know, out in the countryside at least, everything looks very old. Well lived in. Right here is another one of our yards, our farms. Right here, another house with a sleep trigger. And right here, this is going to be our ducks. You can see we've got white, we've got brown, we've got black. Let me buy some ducks. There we go. They actually look pretty good. And they sound good too. It looks like there is a possibility there could be some duck egg right here that you can sell. And obviously it's going to be similar to chickens. They've got the feed trough. And if we look at our animals, wheat, barley, rye, or triticale, similar to chickens. Yeah, they're going to be producing eggs, so there'll be duck eggs to sell off. I like that change of pace. We've done chickens for so long, it's nice to see something new. Now here we've got our goats, and brown, white, and black, just like the ducks. Again, we don't own this property, but we can use it. So maybe maybe that was just a slight oversight and that'll get corrected in a future update. But our goats are noisy and apparently friendly. Don't bend over in front of them. If you know anything about goats, goats like to to butt you in the rear and you bend over. But we've got standard water trough, we've got feed right here, and there's going to be goat milk that apparently requires a special trailer to haul, and that's going to be available in the store. And ducks, not ducks, I wanted to look at our goats. There's our goat. So goats are going to either take silage, or they're going to take grass, hay, or lucerne hay. So there's a new type of hay out there that you can use also. Lucerne hay, I have to assume it's going to be really similar to making our traditional grass hay. But yeah, that's goats for you, and I'm sure it will be similar to every other animal. You'll have to keep the feed pens clear or clean, scoop it up, dump it back in, and all that jazz. And there's one last quick thing that I want to look at, mostly because it is such an oddity. Well, there's a couple quick things that I want to look at along the way, but coming up here on our right, we have 2 more sell points. You have to open the gates on virtually everything, but again, this, nicely detailed stuff sitting around. We've got cars, we've got trucks back into the loading docks. If we look at our map, we can see that we've got the potato and sugar beet sell point right here, and we've got another grain elevator right there. And our sell point for sugar beets and potatoes right here, and our grains are going to be right here. Pretty straightforward. I like these buildings, really well done, and everything on this map, really gives it a feel of something different, at least from my limited perspective. As anybody who's watched anything that I've done so far knows, I'm still pretty new to all this, doing everything I can to get up to speed as quickly as possible. And that includes not driving off the map, so we'll make a quick cut through here and take a quick look around the village. See what the hot spots are. Now, the last sell point on this little tour, we have got something on the other side of the road. This is the Rajatowski farm. And that's all it says. It's the Rajatowski farm. It does not say what they buy or how much they pay for it. Well, actually, let's take a look here. So, looks like they're buying standard cereals, a little bit of everything actually. The Rajatowski farm will buy your eggs, just about any type of crop you can grow except for cotton and sugarcane. And they will buy whatever this is. It's either triticale or lucerne. I'm betting lucerne. So that's the Rajatowski farm. And just a quick cut through up here. Now, something that I was a little bit confused by. Some people might argue that there's many things that I'm a little bit confused by, but this one in particular caught my attention. Now, if we come back and look at our map one more time, and we look at the lands, we apparently own a square right here. And when I went back to look at said square, it appears to be what we Americans call a soccer field, what Europeans would most likely call a football field. But as you can see, I'm standing on it, and we only own this little tiny square piece of it. I don't know why. I don't think we can sell it. No, I mean we can, but we get $0 for it. Not sure about that one, but it's neither here nor there. It doesn't take anything away from the game. It doesn't affect anything. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could try to sneak a plow in there and, plow 0.01 acres and grow some corn or something. I don't know. Do your worst, do your best. Now the village has a nice homey lived-in feel. Again, this is Lipinki. This is the exact same village used on the Lipinki map as far as I can tell. Oh, that was close. One thing I was particularly interested in was this greenhouse. Either they really like bright colors in Poland, or somebody really wanted to tick off their neighbors. Or maybe that's just a tribute to Mr. Sealy P. and Mr. Sealy P's infamous Sealy P green. Coming up into these trees, I'm reminded of something that I forgot earlier, and that is there are 2 new types of trees available on this map. We can now plant spruce and fir, and I had not checked these out, but if we go into our menu, look at our palettes, and we can see right here spruce saplings and pine saplings. Pine saplings are going to be your firs. Those are available on this map. And yeah, that's it. This is Cybochowo. I hope you've enjoyed the map tour. It's my first ever, and if you have, I really appreciate it if you would hit the like button. Until next time, you all take care.